Hey there, Smith & Wesson Model 41 fans. Today I'm going to show you how to install Nick Taylor's +2 12+1 follower in a Model 41 magazine. It's very important to read the instructions on Nick's website and make sure you have the correct type of magazine. It's got to be the older low hole type. If yours has a higher hole on it at the bottom, his follower is not going to do you any good. It's not going to work. So make sure you check that very carefully on the website. So we're talking about TaylorTacticalSupply.com. Nick Taylor is the guy that runs this, and he has designed and 3D prints these followers. So this is his follower. This is the original factory follower, and you can see the difference in dimensions. That's how he gets the extra 2 rounds into the Model 41 magazine. So before you start, I'm going to go over the tools. You need a pick like this, which you're going to use to pull the spring up and down inside the magazine. I'm using a small file. That seems to work very well for me. And then you need a small pair of pliers. I'm using a tiny little pair of channel locks, which works well for me. You can also use just a regular pair of needle nose pliers as well. So before we get into taking the magazine apart, it's important to remember how the cross pin goes in. Cross pin has a large size and a small side. You want the large size to be on the left side of the magazine. If the magazine were in the gun and facing forward, you want the large side of the pin on the left side. So the first thing we're going to do, and real caution here, I'm going to read the directions on how to do this directly from Nick's website. And all I'm going to do is add the visual to that. It's very important as you're removing the factory base plate and the spring to acknowledge that that spring is, it's pretty tight in there. If you lose control of it, it's going to go across the room and either hurt somebody or break something or just get lost. So step one is the round part of the magazine has the spring in it. What we're going to do is compress that spring to get it down away from the bottom of the base plate. Then you're going to grab the base plate and pull it straight out, like that. And if you look at the bottom of this pin, now I'll come back to that. Let me release the spring first. You want to put your hand over it, pull the pin out, and allow the spring to relax like that. And if you look at the base plate now, and the pin on the top of the spring, that's how your base plate is locked into the magazine. That pin inserts in there after we put everything back together and prevents that base plate from coming out. So you set the base plate aside, you set the spring aside, and now you're going to slide the magazine, whatever you want to call it, the follower all the way down to the hole, and your pin will pop out. There's the cross pin with the small size, and the large sides on it. Now your magazine follower comes all the way down like that, and it's quite a tight fit in there, as Nick points out in his instructions. So you use your pliers again and just pull it right out. Now it's time to put his new follower in, Nick Taylor 00 12+1 follower. Goes back in. This round part goes in the spring, the round spring part. And again, it's fairly tight going in there. Very tight. Wow. There we go. So now that goes back in. You slide your retainer pin in. Again, the large size goes on the left side of the magazine. You slide it back up to the top. Now you're ready to put everything back together. Put the spring in the round part of the magazine. And again, use your pick. Again, you got to be real careful here because that spring can go flying. Use your pick to hold it down again. And now you're ready to slide your retainer base plate back into its little hole. Let go of the spring, job done. You now have a Nick Taylor 12+1 follower in your Smith & Wesson Model 41 magazine. Job done. Thank you.